What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Trance, and we're back with an all-time classic, and for me at least, sort of the definitive version of a tune that is famous for a number of different remixes, most of which I'm very, very fond of, and I think 3 of which I've already reacted to, which is to say we're going to listen to the CM tune Dream Universe. CM, it was a duo. One of the two, Marino Stefano, died in a car crash in the early 2000s, quite tragically. But yes, he and his partner, whose name in the moment I'm forgetting, they released a few tracks under the CM name, but Dream Universe was by far and away the biggest hit they had. I think they both released tunes individually as well. But yes, Dream Universe is known primarily, or let's say most significantly, perhaps through the Toucher mix, which I have not reacted to yet, which is on this, and it's also on one of the Hooge Tunes records. There's like 3 different records with remixes of Dream Universe on Hooge Tunes, and I have them all. And again, I've reacted to the Tilt version, which is called like the Far East mix. I've reacted to the Marino S Pace, like S period Pace, like space, but it's Marino Stefano's remix of his own track, but by himself. And I think I reacted to the Man with No Name mix, which people who know him will be aware that it has a bit of a psychedelic flair to it. But one of the classic mixes for me that maybe doesn't get enough attention is the After on Sunday DJ George's mix. And I love the phrasing of this mix because After on Sunday seems to suggest that there's a party on Saturday night, and then Sunday is a bit of a recuperation day, a bit of a resting day, a day where you can sort of, pick up the pieces after maybe going a bit wild the night before. And it absolutely has this dreamy morning sun coming through the window, or perhaps driving home and looking out at the view from your car window on the way back from the party type of feel to it. It's very long, it's like 11 minutes, so I'll get started quickly. But yes, this mix I first heard on a DJ Huggy mixtape. Huggy, Hector Morita, was still around. I think he mainly produces and mixes house these days, but back in the 90s he did a lot of trance sets. He was in California for a while, then I think he went to the Midwest. I want to say Wisconsin, I might be wrong about that. But yeah, he was out in the Midwest for a while. I think he's back in California now, but he was one of the DJs playing at a lot of trance parties when I was first going to trance parties, like 97, 98, and so on. And this track, I think the original's from 97, certainly this double LP remix vinyl is from 97, so let's get it, except that this is the wrong of the 2 records, so let's wait while I fumble through the release here and get out the other vinyl. And you always have to be careful when you put these in, because there's 2 inner sleeves, and then sometimes you mistakenly put one of the records between the 2 inner sleeves, which is not quite as protective. But yes, here we go. This is the After on Sunday DJ George's mix, and I don't really know much about DJ George, only through this remix, but again, to me, this is essentially the definitive mix of this tune, even if they're all good. The nostalgia vibes are very strong for me with this one. crisp hit of that hi-hat. Feels like I'm looking back in time when I hear this. To say this breakdown is long and atmospheric and almost cinematic would be an understatement in all three regards. But it's not entirely soft and mellow. There's these big percussion flourishes which are coming. Some like heavy tribal drums. Hello. Thank you for... If you went to trance parties between 97 and like '01, there's no way you didn't hear at least some version of this track, and maybe this one specifically, either that or the Toucher mix. so much a drop, it just takes flight again. Love that hi-hat. Fade out minus the kick, but like the hats fade. You don't hear that or see that very often. Indeed, my only critique of this brilliant masterpiece is that the end comes very quickly and sort of starkly. But yes, it's beautiful. It's like taking a trip to the 90s. It's like going back into the parties and the after parties and the drive homes of my raving days past, which I feel like for a lot of people it's something similar. Again, this was just a landmark trance tune. It might not have been as big as some of the trance tunes that, like, in the very late 90s / early 2000s, maybe even more so a little bit the early 2000s, sort of cracked into the mainstream a bit. I'm thinking of like ATB Better Off Alone or something, where like it ended up getting some radio play even though there were DJs playing it at some like underground trance parties. But it was on that level in the world of trance parties and raves in the mid to late 90s. It was just everywhere. And again, people's preference will vary a little bit. I do think the Toucher mix, which I'll react to next in this series, I do think that was maybe a lot of people's favorite. It has like a bit more energy than this one. It doesn't have that long breakdown in the middle. But when I think of this tune, this is the version I think of first. And again, the Tilt mix, fantastic. The Man with No Name mix, excellent. The Mariano S. Pace mix or Space mix is the most different. It definitely is more high energy, and it reconfigures the track where it almost seems like it's a different tune. I have reacted to that one too. And I guess it's fair to say that one is the most like rave party of all of them. Again, this one is almost like more a mixtape track than a party track. Now, don't get me wrong, this track was absolutely played at parties that I went to, and I think it's one that instantly was recognizable and enjoyable for most parties, like most people at those trance parties. And I'm actually thinking of a video of Kai Trasted, like after he came back and started making some trance again, like late 2010s, like 2018, something like that. He played an event and he used this version of the track, and the people there went crazy. You know, it was like, oh my god, like he's bringing back Dream Universe. So it's one that will get recognition, but my memory is that the Toucher mix and the Mariano S. Pace mix were played at parties more, whereas I think of this one as, again, put a mixtape in on your way home from the party, reflect on the night, sort of get yourself to wind down a little bit as you get ready to go to sleep, or maybe you wake up the next day and you kind of have a lazy Sunday. So yeah, again, different versions of tunes sometimes like seem to fit better in different contexts, but obviously that's a subjective process and people may not agree. But yeah, to me, this is sort of the central version of this tune, and all the other ones are great too, but they serve different purposes. So yeah, it's just an all-time classic. I absolutely love it. Let me know what you think of it, and I will see you next time. Peace.